Nintendo Switch 2 rumors are bound to be very hot and heavy over the next few months, as all sources seem to indicate the next piece of Nintendo hardware should be coming in 2024. But now, a somewhat established leaker that has a history of credibility has put some more information on Reddit to give us some more details on what this new system might look like. The leaker's name is I'm a Hero 2, and I personally don't have a history of seeing his leaks or knowing his leaks to be accurate, but in general, the consensus is that yes, this person, if it's him, has been known to be accurate in the past. And in regards to the Switch 2 specifically, his exact comments are that the Switch 2 dev kits have been here for a while. I can verify it. It is backwards compatible with a few games and tested. There is a new cartridge and a new camera feature. On top of that, he also says Final Fantasy VII Remake looks and runs like a PS5 game on the Switch 2 dev kit. Port took no time, I'm told. Could it be a launch game? Not sure yet. Now, let's take some time to break down some of that information. One, what about the idea of this next piece of hardware having a new type of cartridge? Personally, I don't find that hard to believe. Whenever the Game Boy went to the Game Boy Advance, there was a new type of cartridge, and the Game Boy Advance also played both cartridges. It could be something like that, or it could be something like the DS and the 3DS, where it was the same cartridge slot, but there was a little bit of a difference in the cartridge form factor that would create a deviation between the 3DS cartridge and the DS cartridge. Now, when you think about this, obviously it increases the cost in the piece of hardware to allow both pieces of cartridges to be compatible. But hopefully we're at a point where, the Switch is almost, how many years old now? 6, 7, 8 years old? That cost is very minimal to have those maybe more legacy pieces of hardware built into us. And in regards to the backwards compatibility, this is something that people have been thinking about for a long time. And from what I understand, there's two ways you could go about this. One being you create and bring the NVIDIA Tegra chip from the original system and put it on this new system as well, which would allow a true hardware-based playthrough and port of those original games. Or you can do somewhat of a software emulation, which, it's beyond me. I'm not one to really know the difference between a, FPGA versus, ROM emulation. I'm not that sophisticated with my taste, but I know in the past, previous Nintendo hardware has included the console before's chips on the new console to allow that backwards compatibility. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again here as well. Now, in regards to the comments about Final Fantasy VII Remake running like a PS5 game, that seems very vague to me. What I can say is we most likely know that this is an NVIDIA Tegra chip or the next Tegra chip in the lineup. And NVIDIA has that DLSS technology, which is quite capable in doing some upskilling and some performance squeaking, I'll say, or squeezing a lot out of a little, I'll say. That very well could mean that a game like Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was originally a PS4 game, could run quite well on this new piece of hardware. Now, PS5 game, 4K 30 frames on this next piece of hardware, I find that believable. In fact, with this type of game engine and with this type of port, I don't see why it really couldn't happen, but it all depends on what Nintendo's potentially aiming for. The other little tidbit of new information about the new camera feature, Nintendo has been very clear that they don't just want to release a gaming console to give you the next, piece of hardware that has more power. They're always trying to innovate and give you a new way to play. In fact, that is fundamental to their design philosophy. They care about giving you a fun way to play. This is counter to a lot of other game publishers and developers, but I also think it's a part of the magic that makes Nintendo so successful. So them experimenting with the camera, maybe an AR feature or something like that, I can see that. They've tried it in the past to little success with the 3DS, but perhaps technology's gotten to a point today where they could do a lot more with it. Think about a game like Pokemon Go or Pokemon Snap or Pikmin, where you could potentially have an AR feature. Nintendo would love a way to get their gamers to play their games and also be outside more too. And is that something I'll use this piece of hardware for? No, but is it something that could be a good gimmick and a marketing ploy? Potentially. But we all know Nintendo's not going to just give us a, more powerful version of the Switch. They're going to be doing something different with it. So it doesn't surprise me to hear, again, that there's this new feature. Are these rumors true? That's the question. And quite frankly, I don't know. I really don't care. What I'm trying to do for you is to give you an update on what people are talking about this weekend. Again, this person has a history of telling this information and a history of being accurate. But if you're going to tell me that the Switch is backwards compatible, it's more powerful, and it has some new features to it, all of that I think would be true no matter what. Now, the thing that I find most interesting is the idea of Final Fantasy VII Remake being on there, which, yes, give me that. Give me portable Final Fantasy VII Remake, true. But let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think this is happening? Do you think this is going to be what we see soon in a few months? When do you think they're going to announce this piece of hardware? Let me know below and have a great rest of your day.